my name is Ashley. I am a student at the University of Iowa, and I'm conducting interviews to determine students' thoughts on what causes the changes in seasons. Would you be willing to explain how seasons change and answer some basic questions regarding season changes for me?
Certainly.
All of your thoughts are confidential and are only going to be used to help me understand this phenomenon. Would it be all right if I recorded our interview so I can refer to it later to remember what you said?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. So here in Iowa, we have several seasons. Can you describe some of these seasons to me?
Well, we have winter, and we have fall, and we have summer. Since it's a farming state, we plant in the spring and harvest in the fall.
Okay, and so what are some of the characteristics of these different seasons?
Well, during the spring, stuff grows. During the summer, it grows to its peak, and during the fall, it starts to die off. And come winter, it's completely dead, and that's when it snows.
Okay, and what time of year do you tend to associate with these seasons? So by that, I just mean, for instance, like what months would you associate with winter or summer or spring or fall or...
Winter is December. August is summer. Extremely hot. And everything else in between.
Okay, if you had to explain what causes the change in seasons, what would you say?
It's the path that the Earth takes around the sun that causes the seasons to change.
Okay, can you explain how that might affect the change in seasons?
Well, the distance that the Earth would take away from the sun would mean it gets cooler the further away from the sun it gets, and the closer to the sun it gets, the warmer it's going to get.
Okay, so on Earth, where do season changes occur? Does it occur everywhere? Is it always the same? Does it change depending on your location?
Well, I was going to say people that are in winter is going to be one side of the Earth, and the other side of the Earth is going to be in the summer.
Okay, are there any places you can think of where the season is always the same?
I would say the poles, North and South Pole, are always winter.
So what's the season like in Iowa during December?
It's cold, windy, snow on the ground.
Do you think all countries experience the same season in December as we do?
No. It's going to vary depending on where you're at on Earth.
Okay. So during all times of the year, is the amount of sunlight and darkness the same?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. During all times of the year, is the amount of sunlight and darkness the same?
No, it's going to vary.
Can you explain how this might change depending on your location? Or can you also kind of elaborate on, since you said that the amount of sunlight and darkness changes, during what times of the year do you tend to associate with those changes?
Well, there's less light during the winter, so the days are shorter, and during the summer, there's more light, so the days are longer. I know, like, in Alaska, the days there's more darkness than there is light, so it depends on the position that you are on Earth as to how much light you have.
Okay. So, and again, can you just explain during what months there is more or less sunlight?
Well, during the winter, there's going to be less sunlight, so it's shorter days. And then during the summer, there's more light, so it's longer days.
So how important do you think the sun is in determining the seasons?
I think it's a great factor. It determines everything.
So can you explain to me what type of relationship the sun and the earth have? And you can use any of the items displayed here, or you can draw pictures to help you explain too.
Well, the sun is extremely huge, and it's in the center, and the Earth is a smaller planet that orbits around the sun. And as it's orbiting, it's spinning back and forth as it's going around, and as it's making its journey around, the closer it gets to the sun, that's summer, and the further away is winter.
Does anything else interact with the earth or the sun?
There's other planets in our solar system, so they also orbit around the sun. There's some that are closer than us, and there's some further away. So I imagine their weather conditions are far different than ours.
Do you think that they might interact with the sun or the earth to affect the seasons that we get here?
I guess that could be possible. Maybe some planets could pass in front of us, between us and the sun, and that could change things.
Okay, so does the earth ever move closer or further from the sun?
Yes, as it orbits around the same location over and over again, there's a part of it that's further away, and then there's a part of it that's closer. So when it's closer to the sun, that gives us summer.
And so you are saying that this does indeed determine what season it is.
Yes.
So can you tell me anything about the Earth's orbit around the sun?
Well, it makes a circle around the sun,
Okay.
or maybe more of an oblong shape, but it goes around the sun.
Okay, can you just draw me a little diagram of what you think the Earth's orbit looks like?
Something like that, I think.
Okay. Can you think of anything else to add? You can use any of the items here as well, just to help you explain, or any questions that you might have regarding the orbit. Anything that you can think of.
I don't know if our moon plays a factor into it, but when you look at it during the winter, it tends to be lower on the horizon than it is during the summer. So I don't know if the moon plays a factor into our seasons or not. Possibly it could be between us and the sun during those times. I'm not sure.
Okay. So what can you tell me about the Earth's axis?
It's a point directly between the Earth. That's where we get the North and the South poles. And the Earth spins around that axis.
Okay. Do you think this is important in season changes?
I think it plays a factor in it.
Can you explain a little bit more?
Well, since the spinning around the sun gives us the seasons, the spinning around our axis gives us our day and night. I imagine it's not a perfect, straight up and down. I don't know if it has a wobble to it or not, or if it plays a factor, I think, somewhat in our seasons.
Okay. So you said that you don't think that the axis is straight up and down. So is that, would you think that it's tilted then, or that it's vertical versus horizontal? Or I guess, can you show me maybe using one of those, one of those items to show me how the axis might be in relation to the object?
With the tomato here, if it spins in the center straight up and down, it's level. So I don't see how it could be turned to the side without us having an issue with that. So I don't know if it possibly could be on its side. So I believe it's straight up and down.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add, or do you have any other thoughts regarding season changes?
No.
Okay, so just to summarize, you said that you believe that the Earth's axis is straight up and down, and that the seasons are changing depending on how close or far away the Earth gets in relation to the sun. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and do you have any final thoughts you would like to add?
No, I think that covers it.
Well, thank you for helping me understand your ideas of season changes. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.